Hello, my name is Ulrich von Liechtenstein, protector of Italian virginity. Today's video is something different. It is basic infantry PvP. This video is to help the young blood out there learn the sword. And even the battle-hardened veterans can learn a few tricks too. So I introduce to you a part of my hand has been in this PvP guide, and it has been developed in the making for some time. This is called the High Fives Guide to Success. Basically 5 simple steps to teach you how to be a well-rounded fighter. So as we begin, we'll have to set up your PvP combat hotkeys. So before we do any fun stuff, let's take care of the technical admin stuff. So please hit escape. Go to settings. Then you're going to go to controls. You're going to look down until you see alternative hit direction. It should be near the mouse sensitivity. You're going to click that in red to the right. Now you see your thrust, overhead, left, and right swing. You're going to have to want to change that to, let's see, left swing, press Q. Right swing, press E. Overhead or thrust, it depends on what you want, press F. And the other 2 question marks, you can do mouse wheel up for thrust and mouse wheel down for overhead. It's personal preference of what you would like. So play with it. So now that you've completed your basic fighting combo hotkeys, hit apply. Then you're going to press escape once again. You're going to go to settings. You're going to go to video. Scroll down a little bit. You're going to find field of view. I highly encourage that you do 90 to 95 or even 100 if you want, but I believe that's too much. So 90 to 95 field of view. Go ahead and hit apply. There's a reason behind this. I know it's a little bit further back, but as an infantryman, you'll know that this is a big advantage over somebody who's just looking over the shoulder of their tomb. So the first thing we'll get to know is your weapon, the range of the swing, the hitbox, the sweet spot. So first, go ahead and hop on a dummy. Go ahead and pull out that saber of yours, that weapon of choosing. So I want you to just hold E, and I want you to swing in front of your dummy. So I want you to scoot back a little bit more and keep hitting until the tip of your weapon hits your dummy. All right, now that you found the tip of the swordsman's weapon, any weapon for that matter, does the most damage. So when you look at your weapon and in your inventory it says 55 slashing damage, that means the weapon, there's the damage node on the tip of your weapon is going to be doing the majority of that damage. So if you have 50 like slashing for your sword and you hit it with the tip of your weapon, you're relatively going to do around that damage. Because then you have to bring in the factors of the person, if they're in combat stance or passive stance, or if they're wearing armor. There's a whole lot of factors that are involved with it. That's what makes this game so unique. So now that we found the sweet spot, right? Now we're going to do something called drag swinging. This is an ancient thing that a lot of PvPers back in the old day used to do. They used to exaggerate this by spinning in 360 circles like this. But if you want to be a more controlled fighter, drag swinging is what you need to do because it also helps you fight in the lag and also people who are running away from you. So with your drag swing, I like to get a little bit closer to my opponent, and you can basically face a total of 90 degrees to your right or left and then execute. Dragging your swing, it actually adds more momentum to it. So the more momentum you have, the more damage it does. So it's really behoove of you to swing your weapon with your body. So if you get the sweet spot just right, you can release it, and as if you're swinging right in front of you to get that most damage, you'll have to practice that a while. So we'll practice this 3 times each. Go ahead and execute 3 practice swings. Drag from 90 degrees. Here we go. Execute. Very good. You're probably halfway there becoming a great fighter. Now, to become a great fighter, you have to build your mental strength. This sounds so silly, but if you go into a fight, how many times have your palms become sweaty? You have tunnel vision. You become panicky. People are giving you orders. You're not listening. You're just going in there fighting. You don't know what the fuck is going on. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. But it's that intense. So to build that mental strength, here is a simple thing that you can use. It sounds silly. You don't have to do it. But if you want to shake off that nervousness before a fight, practice this at least once a day. And this is the saying you should say in your head or out loud. It's basically this. Ask yourself this question. What are you? Prey or a predator? Now, if you answered predator, you are correct. Now, it's silly to say that, but when you say that over and over and over again, that I am a hunter, a killer, a predator, nothing can get in my way. When you build that mentality, you have that certain ego, and along with an aggressive fighting stance, you become a powerful warrior on the battle. I recommend that you practice that at least once a day, as many times as you want. All right, so now we're going into the second phase of the high fives combo. All combos in class. So you got to cut class, right? You reached 90. All right, well, let's figure out our combos real quick. So remember those keys I told you about, right? So if you press P, and then the top left is combat tab, it looks like a dude with a sword. You're going to click on your swordsman 60. So click on your swordsman tab and go to 60. We'll start there. You see that flurry of blows down there? Well, it tells you the combo. It's basically right, thrust, left. So let's execute that right now. Oh, pardon me. So right, thrust, and left. Above your head, you should see an icon that pops up as flurry of blows. When you do combos in this game, that last swing does a little bit more damage, and it adds either the wound multiplier or the fraction multiplier, depending on your weapon's pro. So let's check out your weapon real quick. Go ahead and press P and hover over your practice sword. Now, once you're looking at your practice sword, and you see the wound multiplier, the fracture multiplier, and the stun multiplier. So wound multiplier is basically slashing weapons. When somebody hits you with a sword or any other weapon that can cause bleeding, your soft HP will come out of you. Your soft HP is like your consciousness. That's the top red bar. The bottom red bar is your hard HP. That's where you die. So if that goes 0, you're basically dead. So why I bring swordsmen to light is because swordsmen actually last a lot longer on the battlefield if you know how to properly use them. And they're pretty cool. I like them myself. So now we go into the 90 combo swordsman. And now take it amongst yourself to go to swordsman 90. You don't have to do that right now, but it's called thousands cuts. And you can do you can do an overhand, right, and left. And then you can also flip the combo. You can do a left, overhand, right. You may think combos are useless, they burn too much stamina, but as a swordsman, when you're in there deep with the enemy in close quarters combat, and they're all around you, what do you got? You got combos. Congratulations. A really useful close quarters combo is the Footman 90 knock, knock, knock. That's overhand, overhand, overhand. That's a brutal combo. Directly headshots if you can master it right. On top of that, we'll be going into special strikes, and followed by that will be shield bashing. So special strikes, right? So you have a shield now. Congratulations. If you get that shield up to 60 swordsmen, you can shield bash. Now, how does shield bashing work? Well, let's start with the basics. Go ahead and hold up that shield. Go ahead and shield bash me. Notice how you buckle yourself. You can't shield bash another shield user. Go ahead and shield bash me again while I'm holding it passively. Doesn't work, right? Now say that you flank me left or right by 90 degrees. Go ahead and come up on my left side around my shield. Come a little bit closer. Try to get all the way to the side, at least a 90-degree angle. Boom! Just like that, you knock your opponent in passive stance. When in passive stance, your opponent takes a lot more damage. Now go ahead and shield up again. Now that I come around you and the person is holding up their shield, I can shield bash that person and begin, and begin my special strike. Now if you turn around and back up, when you knock a shield bash somebody on the ground, a swordsman 60, you get a special ability which is your ground stab. You want to look down half like an inch like this and aim with the sword and stab your opponent on the ground. As you're doing this, you want to right swing. Oh, you're going to press the stab button. You're going to press your F if you have that to thrust, and that will execute your stab. So remember, let's do that one more time. I shield bash you, I thrust, strike, and swing again as you're getting up. And that is the special strikes for swordsmen. Now at 90 swordsmen, if you draw your sword from your hip, you get a special stab motion. You just got to, there's a certain like fishy white thing in your screen that you have to match with the directional swing. This is why we have our hotkeys set to them. You can set your hotkeys to anything you like. I set my stab for my middle mouse button when I press down. So what I like to do is I either do the ground stab or I throw a combo on the opponent. So I'll demonstrate right now. Go up to my opponent and I shield bash him. And I'll just throw a combo. So as your opponent is getting up, he's getting hit 3 consecutive times. Even if they're a tier 2 plate, you're still doing a lot of damage to them. And plus they probably have like maybe 1 to 3 wounds bleeding out them. So they're losing a lot of soft HP health. That's not a whole lot to knock them out, but a prolonged fight, and they have no soft HP preps, which is called adrenaline preps. If you open up your inventory and you hover over your adrenaline prep, you'll see that it restores soft HP magnitude of 1. So every second, you regain back 1 soft HP health. So as swordsman, this is very useful. Now this comes into the next part. As swordsman, your best friend is your shield. Go ahead and bring out your shield. I want you to go into your sword stance. Just hold the right swing. So I'm going to equip a real weapon. I will not hit you, but I will hit your dummy. If you pay attention to the system chat, you'll see that I'm doing slashing damage to his shield. Watch what happens. So I did 10.47 slashing damage to him. But did you notice that none of that all of that did not go into his hard HP health? His shield absorbed that damage, converting 2/3 of that weapon damage into a soft HP health. Why is that special? Well, guess what? You're a swordsman who has soft HP preps, those adrenaline preps. When you eat one of those, that recharges your soft HP health up to where your hard health ends. So basically, you're lasting 2/3 longer in a fight compared to a two-hander against a swordsman. Two-handers are very popular, and people love using them. But a good swordsman can take out almost any two-hander out there, as long as you have a shield. Next, we will go into a thing I call turtling. This is a very new style of fighting, and I like to do this because it's pretty useful, and it manipulates the shield. It's called turtling. So you're bending over, and you're backpedaling by holding D, and you see how my shield comes up out of side like this, right? Well, you put that in between you and your opponent, and he's going to hit your shield in any direction. So go ahead and strike me. This increases your shield at almost to the same length of it's kind of an in-game, I wouldn't say exploit, but it's in the game and people don't know it really. And it's very useful if you're trying to regain stamina and a passive stance. Because if you noticed, if you're in an attack stance and you run around, you can't really recharge stamina that much. It's very slow. So you never want to sprint all the way to your opponent in combat stance. You want to get to your opponent, get your stance, and then strike. Alright, so now we're going to feint swinging. Go ahead and put that shield on your back. So if you want to save your swing and don't use it, this is what it's going to look like. I didn't burn any stamina. I just feinted. Right. So you left click and then right click to cancel that swing. This saves stamina, or you can just do, if you're in the moment and you have time to do that, you can just swing and throw it away and then get back in your stance and execute again. All right, so now we're going to parry. Parrying is kind of directional. So if you're looking at your opponent and you see someone coming at you with a right swing, right? You want to face in that direction and block that way that's coming from. Your weapon actually has to go in front of your body and block that person's weapon, just like in real life. So whichever direction your opponent is swinging, you need to parry a half second in that direction before they release that swing. There's a little bit of a lag in the game, but if you can time it right, you can catch that parry. So go ahead, I'm going to do a right swing on you. I want you to parry with your facing the left side. Apologies. We'll time it right. So his sword went in the direction of my swing, which cancels my swing. Now I will demonstrate the opposite direction, him swinging right on me, and I parry. Keep an eye on his soft stamina. Go ahead and execute. See how he lost about 20 to 30 soft stamina. When you are fighting an opponent, this is crucial, because if you catch your opponent catching his breath, that's a free hit. I would recommend going straight for the torso, right in the back. Boom! High points right there. So now we'll go into different directions. If an opponent has a left swing, you will face your right side. One more time. You will block that direction. If an opponent has an overhand, you're going to look up a little bit and parry. One more time. One more time. There we go. Easy day. But not many people do overhand and parry successfully with the overhands. The mainstream right now is the right and left swing. So now we'll go over stabs too. Say you're facing a pesky stabber guy, right? Those spearmen or swordsmen who stab a lot. Well, check this out. All you gotta do is look down a little bit and parry. Boom! Easy day. A lot of two-handers can learn from this, because their worst enemy is a spear and shieldman. Now, if you can parry their stab, you can get around their shield, probably drop their stamina, they lose their breath. That's a free hit for you. We will go over the fighting stance. So your fighting stance is going to look like this. You have your sword and shield. You're going to have your right swing, holding it with your left click. Go ahead and bring out your shield. So you see how my shield is in between me and my opponent. You don't want to be looking all the way down, or else you expose your shoulder. You want to have it right in front between you and your opponent. I want you to press C, and I want you to release your swing. You see how high you swing? You want to aim just a tad bit lower, almost like you're looking at your opponent's feet, like his kneecap. That's the distance where you want. So put the center of your screen at your opponent's kneecap or foot, and then press C again to go into third person. This is the stance you should always have, as it is a good horizontal swing and you're dragging on your opponent. So now we're going to be doing counterclockwise circles around our opponent. Our opponent will be this dummy. So go ahead and circle with me. So the reason why ULRICH always circles around the opponent and counterclockwise is because of this reason. Always keep your eyes on your opponent's feet, like you're constantly turning your mouse. So go ahead and release and reset. Execute. Bring up your sword again. Execute. You see how you bring up your right sword again? Because you're constantly turning and circling your opponent. This does two things. Allows you to get your easy stance and have your opponent have to chase you in your strong side, which is your left side because your shield's there. Most people are predominantly right-handed and will swing with their right hand. If you're a two-hander and you're listening to this, you need to swing with your left hand. Swing around that shield and hit my right side of my chest. Alright? So that is the stance you'll have. Now another thing I like to do is I'm going to calibrate you. This goes for new fighters and old fighters. If you want to learn easy headshots, this is what you'll do. Go ahead and go up to a dummy. I want you to press F10. Now you see that green bar? That's basically useless and not doing much. This is up to you if you want to do it. But this is what I do for easy headshots. So you're going to click that green bar, drag it to the center of your screen, right? Okay. So go ahead and grab your hunger bar, and you're going to drag it right above your character's head, right? Put it off to the left side of them too. So I want you to press F10 again. I want you to get that right swing out, the stance. You'll be aiming higher, but this is to calibrate your right swing. Now I want you to aim at your opponent's head, what you think it is, and release. Now if you hit the dummy right in the head, I want you to adjust that hunger bar. So press F10 again, and adjust it where it's needed to be. So wherever you see the hitbox on the dummy, you need to adjust where that hunger bar goes. One more thing for that hunger bar, you can hover your mouse over the top or the corners and minimize it too. You can make it smaller, skinny, long, short. I recommend making it as small as possible, then hitting F10. This is kind of like an aim assist. And this aim assist works with all classes. This works well for teaching two-handers with that left swing to get headshots. And I've gotten 4 in a row in a fight, and I tell you, it is beautiful. Also with swordsman as well, getting headshots doesn't ever hurt. So also with lancers, it's kind of confusing for lancers to know that hitbox if you're new to lancing. This also helps you with that stabbing motion. If you put that crosshair pointed at an opponent and release your lance, you're going to hit your opponent. The same thing goes for, for spearmen. If you're kind of finicky on where the spear goes, the spear, if you hold that stab stance, it'll always go straight into your opponent. Right in the head. Boom. A lot of people don't like this because it's not aesthetically pleasing. They have a thing right there, but I've actually gotten used to it. We're going to go into hit and run drills. So go ahead and back up, mirror me, and I'll demonstrate a hit and run drill. This is your basics for infantry fighting. We'll do 3 walking and then 3 running. Be sure to get in your stance. Always hold that right swing. Now you're going to walk past your opponent and release that swing and walk through past him. Don't walk into him. Good. You may not be getting the sweet spot of your sword, but this is just the basics for right now. Once more. Good. Now we'll try walking with your A and W. So it'll be walking with your sweet spot. Now remember, your swordsman's sweet spot is right directly in front of you. So you'll be holding A and W going forward and release right when your opponent is right in front of you. If you get it just right, you'll do a lot of damage. Good. Good job.
Question, why am I parrying?
You probably have a bug. Now, you'll experience these bugs once in a while. The order to fix them is to right-click it, press R, or to just press that sword slot, the shield slot in your inventory to pop on your back and pop it back out. That is your failure to stop drill. If you're bugging out, like your stamina isn't recharging, or your shield keeps spamming block, you need to do those things. First, get away from the danger. Press R, run up your opponent, press R again, and re-engage in your fight. All right, we are back to the hammer drills. I mean, the hit and run drills. So the hit and run drills, you get in your stance again. You're always shuffling. If you stand still in combat, you're giving archers an easy target. So you ask yourself again, are you prey or are you predator? Better shuffle that ass. So here we go. Walking 3 times, you'll be holding A and W to your opponent and releasing. So once more, A and W, hit and run drill. And release. Good. We're almost there. Now we'll be doing the same thing, but now running. Right? We'll do it 3 times. Ready, go. Remember to shuffle. Keep shuffling. Don't ever stop. Don't give that archer that opportunity. And execute. Once more. And execute. Good. You'll notice that when you're sprinting, you're actually adding a little bit more damage. May not be a lot, but with a real weapon, that's a few extra points of damage. So now, remember those drag swings? Go ahead and stop shuffling. Remember that drag swing. So I'll demonstrate what I mean by dragging and doing a hit and run drill. So it's going to look like this. When you do that, you're dragging, fighting the lag, and you're pulling off your opponent. Go ahead and execute that 3 times walking. Good. Once more. Very good. Now we'll execute that 3 times by running. Ready? Go. Execute. Last one. Good job. You're almost there, soldier. Now we'll go into what I like to call dirty fighting. So as you're swinging, you're dragging, you're also going to add in this factor called ducking. Now, ducking is very dirty. People swing right over you. If you see my character that bend right over, it almost puts his hitbox in half. Especially for female characters, their hitbox is so much smaller when they bend over. And usually fighters overswing their targets. They swing pretty high. So this is what it will look like. This is the style I like to fight it. You would do all 3 at once. You are swinging, dragging, and ducking all at the same time. Go ahead and execute 3 times. All right, now we'll be going doing running drills. So everything that you've learned to this point adds up to this drill. 3 times, all 3 things incorporated. Ready, go. And if you miss, do not worry. Set up for another run. Good job. And one more for the money. Very good. Now keep in mind, when you do that, it also activates that turtle shield I was talking about. So now we're going to try this. Once you hit your dummy with that hit and run drill with ducking, you're also going to be backpedaling away from your opponent with holding D and S. So I will show you, let's teach you how to backpedal properly. So if you go ahead and line up next to me, face the north, and just go into regular combat stance, don't move your weapon at all. I want you to hold S, and I will backpedal my way, and we'll see who reaches the wall first. Go ahead and go. And stop. You see, it's not a whole lot faster, but it's a little bit extra fast. So if you hold the S and the D key, you'll see that you backpedal a lot faster, but you're backpedaling at an angle. So go ahead and go on your dummy real quick. you're going to turn. You're going to turn a little bit to the right, about 30 degrees, and hold S and D. And you'll see the difference. Now you're going to do the same thing, but bending over. This keeps your shield basically fully blocking your body when you do this. Bend over and backpedal. Have that shield in between you and your opponent. Now to counter this, two-handers or one-sword-handers, you have to get all the way around that shield. The best spot is to get on that left shoulder of yours when you're backpedaling. When someone's backpedaling like that, you want to go for the top of their head or their shoulders around the shield. But a good swordsman will always keep the shield between them and their opponent. Now go ahead and turtle. Backpedal and turtle. S and D. Keep your shield in between you and me. Oh, my bad. See, the right swings always get caught by the shield. But if you're smart, left swing it, go around the shield. That's how you counter that. But a lot of people don't know how to counter it because it's still pretty new. All right, the next thing we'll go over. We cannot demonstrate to you right now, but I will show you that in the future, if you're in the arena and you know those two sides of the cliffs where you can go down, it kind of acts as a funnel. So if you're fighting your opponent and he's chasing after you, go ahead and follow me, just for like we're in the arena. This is the corner, right, that I go down in the little cliff corner. It acts as a funnel. And as your opponent is falling towards you, you just shield bash them as they come to you. And that gives you the free strike. Also, corner fighting. Corner fighting is another useful thing for two-handers and one-handers. So as your opponent is chasing you, go around the corner, get your stance, and swing at your opponent. Again, as they're chasing you again, go around the corner. As your opponent's chasing you again, chase me, sir. Come around the corner, fight again, swing, reset. That is corner fighting. All right, let's get back to the dummies. So now we're going to go into my favorite, ULRICHH special hammer pairs. So now you're basically doing the same drills you did on the hit and run drills, but you're doing them twice and then 3 times in a row. So we'll do 2 drills. We'll do it 2 times. So it's going to look like this. That's a hammer pair right there. You did that in 1 sprint. Now this is a triple pair. Triple hammer. I recommend only doing a triple pair when you're on full stamina and you're close to your opponent. Because if you do more than 3, you're going to run out of stam and look like this. You see how I lost my breath? You deserve to get punished if you run out of breath. You need to know your stamina management. That is another thing that you must learn. Now, a good way to manage your stamina with your peripherals is this is what I do. I will press F10 on my keyboard. I will go to my stamina bar and stretch it out pretty long as you want, and put it right underneath my character. This is kind of awkward, but as you're fighting, your peripherals, if you're looking at your opponent, you can see when you swing that your soft stamina is going down. You can keep an eye of it with your peripherals. Kind of weird, huh? This is the easiest way for stamina management. Now, granted, you will lose your stamina when you're getting parried and you're fighting a bunch of people. You always want to keep at least more than half your stamina when you're engaging your opponent. If you go if you have 20 stamina left, don't swing. You're giving your opponent a free hit. Now, say your opponent is 1 hit from dying and you want to risk it, go for it. Risk it. You got to risk it to earn that biscuit. The IB fighting. Now, in IBs, you don't want to try to survive. It's different from open world fighting. In an IB, as an infantryman, your job is to create as much damage as possible. And this is what I mean by that. I will demonstrate how you should fight as a swordsman, or any infantry of that matter, inside an IB. In front of me are two enemies right there. This is what it's going to look like. Regain that stamina. Re-engage. Doesn't matter if you're getting hit. Does not matter. As long as you're hitting more opponents than they can hit you, you are winning the fight. Right there, you're doing 3 times the damage output than that opponent. So if you can do that in a battle, in an IB, in any open world or arena, you'll get the most kills. You'll most likely die because you're going in the hot zone. And if you're going in there and you're doing that damage, and your buddy left and right of you is doing the same exact thing, you will win that fight, that IB, and that arena. So let's demonstrate with 3 people now. I want you to try the IB style on 2 of these dummies, and then I'll incorporate myself in there as well. So go ahead and execute 2 times. Ready, go. Notice how he's striking different opponents. He isn't just fighting one person. A lot of people like to get locked up in those big battles and fight one-on-one. No, you do not do that. You do not want to be honorable in a fight. This isn't some role-playing game, even though it is. But you want to fight dirty, and this is how you win fights. So now I'll be incorporated into the mix. I will be moving a little bit and swinging at him to act as a third person. But now he's going to bounce from all 3 of us. We'll hit one of them, switch target. Hit one, switch target. Hit one, switch target. And go. Once more. And execute. Oh, punished! You see how he lost his stamina. You always got to keep an eye on your stamina. If you do 2 hits and you notice you're below half or your danger close to 0, get out of the fight. Even if you get hit, it's okay because you're surviving that much longer. If you lose your breath, all 3 of those people get a free hit on you. You're basically dead after that. You've probably seen it a bunch of times. All right, so now we go into the next portion. Is to recap on the knowledge, the pros and cons of armors. We'll start there. So if you press P, go ahead and get your passive stance. Press P, you'll go to your combat, and we'll start from the top in cavalry. So go to 30 cavalry, and go ahead and hover over any armor piece. So you'll notice the slashing reductions, the piercing reductions. So slashing is the most common damage out there. So if you're new to the game and you want to learn a fun but deadly way of fighting, slashing does the most hard HP damage out there that is known. It's the mainstream way to do damage. So let's go start with an assaulter actually. Go down to the assaulter tab and hit 30. Hover over any piece of armor. So I use swords, right? And when you slash somebody with that 50 damage, that slashing damage reduction turns that 50 slashing damage into 25, depending if it's the torso or head or arm. If it's the torso, it may not reduce all the damage because you take a lot more damage in the torso and head than you do in the arms or legs. So if you're ever fighting your opponent and you don't have a shield and you're just a two-hander, use your arms as shield. That's your next shield. You take a lot less damage in those areas. Now you go up 1. You go to Slinger 30. Hover over the novice leather armor. You'll notice that it's really good against siege weapons. There's not a lot of siege weapons out there except the Vanguard 30 sledgehammer that does siege damage. That thing's pretty good if you know how to use it. A lot of armors can't negate that. So now we go to the Footman 30. Hover over that armor. You'll see that this is a piercing protection armor. But hey, if you're that two-hander with that big sexy axe, Your chopping damage is going to clean up that swordsman. Now we go to the militia tab, 30. Hover over that, and you'll see that it's a good blunt and siege protection. Now we go to the final one, cavalry, 30. And you'll see that the chopping resistance is pretty much second mainstream to the slashing. So if you're new to the game, the cheapest armors to use is 30 cavalry and 30 assaulter. If you can spare those points and incorporate it with any build that you like, you can have the benefit of having those damage reductions for you. You can mix it up too. You can go hybrid armor, but it's better to just go plate. Plate's pretty much the best armor in the game still. Even with the armor changes, it's what you want to do. So the areas to strike, right? So I'm going to walk up to you and show you the areas to strike. The areas you want to strike are the head, which does loads of damage, especially if it's a slashing, and the torso. Let me just get behind you. So the torso and head take a lot of damage compared to the arm. I'll swing on the arm real quick. Go ahead and put your shield on your back. I hit him in the left forearm. That's a lot. That's 7 blunt damage compared to the 13 damage I did up to his head. Do you see where I'm going at? It's basically almost half with this blunt weapon I'm using. So you always want to put your dukes up when you're fighting somebody. Kind of like in real life. Protect your body with your arms. And then now we go into the final portion of this training, is how to battle prep. So you got these battle preps, right? The battle preps are the adrenaline preps, soft HP. So I'm going to demonstrate to you how you use prep during battle. How to battle prep. So you put the adrenaline prep on your number 5 bar, right? You're in combat stance. You're fighting the enemy. And I'll show you how I do it. Boom, right there. Within that span of time, I was able to eat 1 soft HP prep. Battle prep. And how you battle prep is you're running, you're fighting your opponent, you're backing off a little bit, and I'll demonstrate one more time slowly for you guys. You're walking forward, you press 5, press R again to get in your stance. Go ahead and execute that. Very good. Now come to me and I'll trade you again. I'll give you some antidote preps. These are good if you're poisoned. And just for practice purposes, I'll give you these 2 so you can do it while you're running. So go ahead and drag that to your 5 bar, the antidote, and jump when you're ready. So now when you're holding shift and running, you're going to release shift, press 5, hold shift while you're eating it, and then press R to get in your stance. So it'll look like this. And executing. Just like that. So I'll recap again. You're going to hold shift, release shift, 5, hold shift, press R. Remember to hold shift as you're eating your prep. I'll give you 1 more prep so you can practice once more.
I have a...
Okay, good to go. So go ahead and execute that 1 more time. I'll do it with you. And execute. It's a little awkward, but if you practice it enough, this will save you in combat. What I see a lot of swordsmen and even two-handers doing is they're fighting with low soft HP damage, and then they get knocked out. Well, you could have fought a little bit longer, but now guess what? You're on the ground getting coup de grace, and you only have yourself to blame. Now, if only you had 5 soft HP preps in your inventory. Wow, easy day, right? Now, if you prep like that in combat, you eat those preps while you're fighting or before a fight, those will help you last a lot longer in a fight. Now, if you please wait here, I will return with more soft HP preps, and we'll go into a 1v1. And after that 1v1, we will critique each other on what we did right and what we did wrong. I will do everything that I have taught you while we're having this 1v1. All right, and we're back. So now I will trade you 5 soft HP preps. And if you don't know how to trade, you just right-click your person, and then you click the item or drag it into the person's trade, and you hit accept. Now go ahead and reset that 5 bar by clicking and dragging that adrenaline prep into your 5 bar. Now in this fight, we'll be going as hard as possible. We'll be using practice weapons only. And I want you to utilize the training that you learned today, such as battle prepping, swinging, dragging, and ducking, and then turtling to regain your stamina. I want to see hammer pairs, triple pairs. I want to see it all. And remember, when you're in a fight, turn on the switch. Are you prey or are you predator? I am a predator. As customary, we bow and begin. Good job. Since you have that soft HP prep, it gets you back off your ass and back in the fight even faster. Gives you the chance to get out of there. We'll call it there. We'll call it a game right there. Good job. All right, to summarize, we went over the different type of training, the hit and runs, the battle prepping. You saw that was a lot. And I also teach in person as well. So if you, yes, you watching this video, if you would like to learn a 1v1 lessons, please let me know. It is my honor to teach people. If you're new or veteran, this is no politics aside. This is purely of the sports and sportsmanship of the game. So this, in a way, this is my gift to the community. I really hope you guys take some of these lessons and probably teach some of your new guys, or even if some of you old dogs learn some new tricks. I just love teaching people how to fight. Also, Raven's Cross, you got it, is recruiting. So if you are interested, and there will be a Discord in the link in the description, feel free to hop by and check us out. Also look into Iron Will. They are also another prestigious guild. Very good fellows. I highly recommend them. So if you like to check them out for recruitment too, always do it. It'll be in the description as well. If you like this video, please then smash that like button as hard as you can. And subscribe to help grow this channel to reach all of Goldenland. And I again thank you for watching. I'm Ulrich von Liechtenstein, protector of Italian virginity.